Did anybody immediately think of a potty joke when you think of the word streaming?
No.
We are live.
Well, I do.
You cut me off. I was just about ready to say something.
You could say something.
Well, I'm 58 streaming. I wish.
You're
I'm like a rainbird.
That's exactly what.
Takes about 20 minutes to get streaming.
Right. You should,
There we go. Nope, all done.
you should be proud. No, damn it, I wasn't done.
Yeah. Oh, well. Wet spot on the pants.
Or if they're a colored cycling shirt, that it's just like a window so everybody sees
Never.
what religion you were.
Never.
I
Right.
drove over from Hoquiam today.
And you peed
I
in
had
the
to
car?
No, I had to stop 3 times. I'm like, fuck, I got old man bladder.
Yeah, here it comes.
3 times.
Is that because of all the LaCroix?
Yeah. Yeah. And coffee.
Okay.
I do drink a lot of coffee.
All right. Well, I'm supposed to play this cheesy oompa music, but I'm not
it's-
going to because it's outdated. It says we broadcast on Tuesdays. So, hey there, everyone. No cheesy self-composed garage band music today because I just noticed the cheesy intro actually stated the wrong night for our live broadcasts. See how I repeated myself even because I wrote all this before now. This show is streamed live on YouTube and Podbean. If you want to participate in the chat or even call in, feel free to get involved via the Podbean app, which is free, or even the YouTube live stream. The Packfiller is live every Monday at 6 o'clock Pacific time, and of course available on every podcast platform there be. Now let's get to the Packfiller podcast. This episode supported by some of our very good friends at Gooder. Gooder Sunglasses. If you get the joke, get Gooder. If you go for style, get Gooder. If you want to glam out, get Gooder. Be sure and check out the full and ever-changing lineup at gooder.com. Also, thanks to the great gang at Giant. See all the G's? Oh, Carson's pointing at his toque right now. It's not a toque, but it's a hat. Bikes for all terrain, speeds, and styles. Don't forget their helmets, tools, and brilliant shoes, just to name a few of the offerings that your local Giant dealer has waiting for you. Check out everything at giantbicycles.com, including the hat that the diva himself is wearing right now. And now, let's do this. Is the theme going to be hot?
Spot on.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
Not bad. Oh, God, you guys should see what I see.
Yeah.
Carson's tonguing the camera. I'm sorry to everybody on our YouTube feed.
Is that how you clean your lens?
I don't know if that's clean. Well, everybody, the Grand Tour time is upon us. The weather is finally agreeable for regular rides, and the races are slowly, if not creatively, creeping into the calendar. It's almost like summer is in the air. We've got people to introduce, and the group is as big as I think it is when I prepped for this show. It is a bigger group than most group rides I've been on in over a year. So in honor of that, let's introduce each of us as if we were a stereotypical group ride guy or girl. First and foremost, he's the one that planned the route. Might change it midway just to mess with your poor fitness level, Mr. Paul Main.
Hi, Pat.
Second of all, he's the guy that shows up, you're not sure who he is, and he proceeds to outride you, even on your favorite stretches, and takes all your fucking Strava KOMs at the same time. Jackson Bolger.
Wow. Hello.
Yeah. You better be training, pal, because I'm putting you on a pretty high pedestal here.
It seems like it.
Yeah. Third, he's the guy who starts a story just as the pace picks up, so you really never get to hear the whole thing. Jack Broadhead.
Wow. I thought it was going to be much meaner than that.
No, I'm feeling kind of nice. Fourth, he's the guy who totally is kitted out, outsprints you at the city limit sign, but still has the audacity to compliment you on getting second. Karsten Hagen. How are you, diva? Yeah, you can't hear a fucking thing from him because the audio is too high, but we'll get him once I pot it down. Me, I'm the guy who uses every excuse in the book, even if they contradict themselves throughout the entire ride. I'm Pat Bulger, and welcome to another episode of the Packfiller Podcast. First off, I made it to the end of the theme on that one. That was a long theme, and I was yelling too, wasn't I? I got a little excited.
Yeah.
Most people hung up.
It's called projecting.
It's called projecting.
Projecting.
Speaking of that,
It's like he graduated.
the theater major. Let's
Coming
welcome
up.
Jackson back to the studio, even if only for a limited engagement. How are you, dude?
Good, yeah. It's good to be back for these 2 weeks before we gotta go back to our den yet again.
So many comments I could make. Let's also welcome back Karsten. How are things going with the Diva? Dude, did you get kicked out of your home because you're sitting in front of an RV right now?
I am. Yes, I was kicked out of my neighborhood, actually. My HOA kicked me out for walking around naked in my kitchen. Really nothing wrong with that. But yeah, I'm here out on the road alone. Mono with me.
Yeah. Chris Horner didn't have anything to do with the HOA or something like that. He's just like, you were standing out front of his house going, "Hey, 5-star."
He is no longer my neighbor thanks
Damn.
to the divorce. But now my neighbor is Cam McCall, famous pro mountain bike dude.
Yeah.
So I was managed to live by somebody who's better than me.
Well, it's oh man. So everybody, this is the question I start every show with. How's the riding? Who's been riding and how much? Jack Broadhead is already shaking his
my
head.
Don't even
Shaking
go to
his
me.
head.
Skip
No,
me.
we're going with you first now. Jack, what's wrong? Jack, talk to us.
I'm too busy working too much.
Jack.
I know. I'm not making time for my bike. You got a theme for that?
Jack, we're here. Jack, tell us why you aren't, why you're having such a hard time with your current cycling state.
Well,
Jack, we're here.
I know. I don't know. I'm in a slump already. Slumping. I know. Sick excuse.
It sucks, dude. I'm sorry to hear that.
I know.
Life gets in the way. You can
Sad.
make eye contact. It's okay. I'm going to
I'll
forgive
stop
you.
crying.
I'm going to forgive you, Jack. I'm going to forgive you. Karsten Hagen, how's your riding life been?
Good.
Yeah?
Real good, actually. Just was over here at the coast for the weekend watching 2 gravel races. Got a decent ride in yesterday. Yeah, just riding probably my usual 8-9 hours a week.
Shit.
Where are you?
Right now I'm in Florence, Oregon. Where my
Oh,
mom
I was in
lives.
Florence on Sunday.
You were?
Saturday, yes. Saturday, sorry. Fucked up.
Wow, dude. What?
Dude.
You guys could have gotten together.
Dude.
Yeah, we could have gone on a sand rail ride together.
Oh,
Oh,
what?
right on.
Yeah.
What's a sand?
Sand
No,
rail.
No.
it's
Dune buggy?
weather's good.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it was beautiful out there that day.
8 or 9 hours a week. You're getting more than I am, I think. Yeah, definitely.
More than that?
What? Say
I
that
always
again.
get more than you.
Oh, always gets more than me. All right. That's fine. That's
Follow
fine.
you on Strava. I follow you on Strava, and I always add an extra hour, so I get at least one more hour than you.
All right, that's fair. No, I understand. Imitation is the most sincere form of flattery. That's cool. Paul Main, how's your ride life been?
Okay. Since last weekend I buggered up a little bit. Went out Tuesday, grabbed about 50.
Ooh.
And then we rode together on Saturday. We did almost 60. And then I rode Seven Hills yesterday.
Nice.
With
You
my
did do
old
Seven
teammate.
Hills.
Yeah.
You did with Andre.
Andre. Mm-hmm.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, good. I'm
Went
glad you got
very
out.
slow.
Did you?
Very slow. Yeah. I was tired.
I was too.
Mm-hmm.
You want to know the worst part is? I think the most fatigued I was from the entire week was today, and that was because I cleaned out my carport and I swept. I was pushing a push broom. I'm not going to lie. Also, I tend to pull push brooms, and I know it's
Because you're left-handed.
Is that it?
Oh,
I
just
don't know,
made it up.
but I pull my push broom, and because it's just easier for me to get into the little nooks and crannies, and so I pull it. And I woke up this morning feeling like absolute garbage. My whoop said I was okay, but I felt terrible. I got 2 rides in this week. That's it, just 2, and Karsten got an hour longer. Jackson Bulger, how's the riding been, Chief? We got a big ride coming up, man.
We do, yeah. Just enough for a handlebar bag. Which was on today when I went.
On his road bike.
Yes.
Did you have pockets on your shorts yet?
No.
You get some shorts?
No.
Okay.
I'll tell you what though, it's a tool that I love to have on days or rides that I don't need to go all out, like a group ride. I would not put it on, or like a race I would never put it on, except
So
if
what
it's the bells
other
and waffle.
people will see you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, it's been good. Today I went out for just a little bit, and then last week was tough because I was traveling here, and it was like last week was a pretty big week in school, so getting as much as I can with the time I have. But once this Friday rolls or once this Wednesday rolls around, I'll be able to do a lot more.
You and I just both signed up for a big dummy thing too.
Yeah,
We're doing the 10-hour mountain bike race.
Oh, nice.
Not this upcoming weekend, but next weekend, the weekend after, as a 2-man team. So that should be really stupid. Because I know the guys over at Bike Hub put it together. Josh Tofsrud and Chris, I think Chris Andreasen had something to do with it. And chances are it'll have some technical sections, and you and I will probably suck donkey balls on that. But anyway, it should be a good ride. It should be a good race.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to it. Carson, you got any events on the summer calendar other than, oh no, dude, I got to work? You going to do any actual, like, you signing up for a race? That's what we all kind of made a promise a few weeks back that we were all going to do some races, but we didn't throw you under that bus. And Jack sucks ass at it.
Signed up for is Rebecca's Private Idaho, which has been a constant. Other than that, I don't. We just started our Tuesday night rides up again. So I'm doing those, and those are, as you guys know, are pretty damn fast.
They are fast.
Yeah. And Saturday morning rides as well. But I got no races on the calendar other than RPI yet, anyway.
That looks like a really cool race, though.
Yeah.
And by the way, I have been in contact with Rebecca Rush's people. In fact, I spoke, and I want to come out right now onto the show and apologize for the person who's I've been working with. I think her Era is Rebecca's person who books these things for her. And I didn't get the last 2 emails, and I was supposed to have Rebecca on the show tomorrow, do an interview tomorrow, but neither of us spoke to each other for about a month. So I was like, oh, I guess it's off. And then this person contacted me today and said, what's going on? You're usually really good at communicating. And I went, okay.
That's not what your wife says.
Well, that's different. This is business, man. This is business. Yeah. So hopefully we'll get Rebecca on here pretty soon. Thanks to the friends at the Bike Hub and Josh for putting on that event, by the way. I don't think I have any immediate contact information for it. If you live in the Spokane area, I guess Facebook or something.
they've got an Instagram.
Do they? Yeah, they got an Instagram. I should probably be a little bit more organized and say something like that, but I'm not. First Wednesday night races this weekend. This week, Jackson and I are doing. Speaking of mountain bikes, sorry to bore you guys with our off-road stuff, but my good friend Eric and the one and only Gino Lasecki are putting on their Wednesday night race. It was a series that has been done for every year. It's great format. Usually it's a mass start, 1 lap or 2 lap kind of a format, staggered for age groups and stuff like that. Gets great numbers. Usually they have a beer garden at the end. A brewery donates beer, and you get to have a couple beers at the end. And we have random prize drawings from all the local shops. This year, because of COVID, it's a little different. It's set up in this format where it's a staggered start. Basically, I think they only allow a certain amount of people to go at a time, and it's more of a time trial, kind of like what we're going to be doing. I'm going to be doing here once our races kick in. But hey, it's a bike race. We get to go hard.
It's actually really what it turns into. A mountain bike race.
Mountain bike race
is
is
time
time
trial.
trial.
Anyway.
It is more or less a really
You just
hard
got to
time
fight
trial.
for the first corner.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. You're right. So we're also seeing various, and I put it in quotations, drop rides happening around the area. I don't know what everybody else who listens to the show is, but our community is starting to have those, and I love seeing drop rides. The no drop rides, I understand what they're doing, but to be honest, it's like I want to go hard, and if and I understand that shops have a tendency to do no drop because they don't want to discourage people and things like that. But I don't know. I'd like to see more of them. We just did ours, but I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
So I'm really not asking any questions. Welcome everybody to the new club and Team Packfiller members. Swag is going out this week. It is Gooder Time. The Gooder Time is among us, and I'm going to be sending those out here this week. So if you signed up, guess what? You got a pair of glasses coming. Before we get to the headlines, I do want to send out a tribute, and one of the reasons why we've got this group gathered here today, and Carson was able to take time out of his vacation and talk about a little tribute moment on the show. It came to our attention recently that an old friend to several here, very much so to Jack and Karsten, Mr. Noel Zanchelli or Chelly? Correct me if I'm wrong. I just knew him as Noel all these years.
I think he went by Zen Kelly.
Oh, Zanchelli, thank you. Unfortunately, untimely left us. He passed away. He was a teammate to both Karsten and Jack, and really overall great guy. Karsten, I know you wanted to speak personally about Noel and your relationship with him and things like that, and provide, maybe you and Jack could kind of provide us with kind of those fun stories that I think are always kind of cool. For not everybody might know him or have known him, but sometimes it's always fun to have that bike riding buddy story. So if any of you guys have something, I'd love to hear it.
I met Noel when we were both 15, and we were doing this bike racing camp that was put on by Steve Poulter in 1986, 85, 86, something like that. And we met each other there, and he was immensely talented, way more talented than me, so Steve kind of took him under his wing. But he also had the biggest personality of any 15-year-old kid I've ever met in my life. He's incredibly funny and loud, but just really approachable, and also just really damn fast, and kind of an inspiration to a lot of the other Seattle kids. He made it farther, and he went to the OTC just like you, me, Pat.
Sure.
Took that and went farther with it, and he ended up on Granny's with you, Jack, which you can probably talk about more.
Yeah.
Was he a part of that origination of Granny's?
Yeah. So I met Noel. He actually rode when I rode for the Mike Morgan team. Noel actually was a junior on that, so that's where I actually got to know him.
What the hell was the name of that team?
Rainbow Cycles.
Was it Rainbow Cycles?
Yeah. So when we were,
Paul knew it.
Yeah,
I know.
I had forgotten
back
that,
when Reebok's name
yeah,
was on
I
everything.
saw a picture in a collage, recently on Facebook of Noel, and so we became friends through that. And then when I moved to Seattle, that was like the start of Granny's was basically Noel's girlfriend in high school. His dad bought companies and made them better. Basically took a struggling company and turned it into something. And he was very wealthy, and so he bought Granny's Gourmet Muffins. And Noel was a bike racer, and he wanted to do something as far as sponsoring a team on the next level. And so Noel at that time approached me about riding, with basically his team that he was forming. I ended up moving into his mom's basement, which is
It's a bike racer
maybe
thing
some
to do.
people don't know. Yeah, Patricia's basement.
It's got a sitcom name all over it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah.
oh, another day in Patricia's basement.
Yeah, so
Laugh track.
Noel, what Carson said about Noel, very, very funny, bright-eyed. When I think about it, it's kind of hard to imagine somebody that's got so much life, not being with us anymore. That's kind of a strange, such a personality. It's such a healthy personality, I guess, is my takeaway from. And I hadn't seen Noel since I quit bike racing, but anyway, I lived in his basement. I picked him up after school a couple times when he went to high school.
That doesn't sound creepy at all.
It was weird.
Yeah.
No, it was
Just
good.
pull up out front like, no, we're late for the orthodontist.
I think his girlfriend probably piled in there too in the car. Probably the back. But anyway, no, he was a great guy. I mean, he was a great kid at the time, and sort of selfless with cycling. I think he, was super passionate about cycling. I know he had some issues that kept him from continuing bike racing, but it was shocking. I mean, I'm still sort of shocked about it, just because of the personality. It just doesn't seem like it's
we don't want to make
Possible.
this. We don't want to make this a sad affair. So, just in the short amount of time we have for this, anybody got something kind of funny or something that for the average listener who's might be having to listen to this who didn't know Noel? Let's talk about something that might be kind of that one time when
He liked to show his hairy
Carson's
butt.
got his. There we go. Hairy
I used
ass
to stay-
comments.
I used to stay in Pat's basement all the time when I was a kid. Noel and I were really close when we were 15, 16, 17 years old, and Noel was also very, very hairy, extremely hairy. And there's pictures of this on the internet, but
Jeez.
I was with him the night he shaved his legs for the first time, and it took him 3 hours, and the amount of hair left over. Neither one of us were wise enough to realize that you probably should start with an electric razor and get all the dander off.
No.
We went through. I did not help.
Yeah, you keep saying we like you're a part of this story. It's like, what were you?
You think me picking him up at school was weird?
Yeah. I helped him shave his ass.
Yeah.
His looked like I put this on Facebook. His bathtub looked like a grazing yak when he was done. It was unbelievable how much hair he shaved off his legs. And I'm sure for him it was a daily struggle. But that's a good one, Bill.
There we go. Yeah, I love that these have nothing to do with bike racing, more or less yet. But
Oh yeah, shaving his legs for other reasons other than bike racing when he was 16 years old.
anything else you want to add to his memory, Jack?
Speaking of Steve Poulter, I think Noel had a lot to do with him marrying Kristen. We went back to Super Week, and that's where she is from Milwaukee. Kristen was around for quite a few years as the Arrive guys went. Like the first time I went to Super Week, I was probably 15, and an Arrive group of us, and but Poulter went back, and he was racing back there, and met her. Noel was pretty a good reason why Steve was centered in Seattle, and I think they became really, really good friends. I think Noel had a lot to do with their relationship and her moving out to Seattle. So not that that's about Noel, but I mean that's just the type of guy he was,
Yeah.
So.
Well, I didn't, and with this show being about bike racing and things like that, I don't want to bring these things down, but we tend to, when we lose some of these people who are close to us, and kind of, bike racing, we can all agree, has this very common. I don't want to use the term brotherhood because it's obviously not just about being a dude. It's not such about being a guy, but these relationships you form, and the guys who are. Sorry, no offense, Jackson, but the guys who are all leaning against this bar and Karsten and his campground, we've been at it for a really long time, and there are a lot of people you started with and you knew really well. And I call them so anyway friends, that if you bump into them on the street, even 10, 15, 20 years later, it's that you walk up to him and say, so anyway, what I was talking about was blah, blah, blah. And you just immediately continue that conversation. And that's what one of the most beautiful things about bike riding is. It doesn't have to be a race. It doesn't have to be that beautiful, epic competition. Sometimes it's those 2 to 3 hour rides in the middle of nowhere where it's raining on you, and if you're Jack, you're pissing yourself and things like that. Yeah. And it just makes it that beautiful, and you have those friends with you to share those memories, and even shaving, and to see that in those stories, and that's what makes it so beautiful. So I did not personally know Noel extremely well. I knew of him, he and I were first name basis, and things like that. But to lose, a fellow cyclist and to lose a brother in the sport, always it just sucks. So I guess without further ado, I ask everybody with anything in your glass, and if you're at home, if you're listening to this show live, I ask you to raise your glass. If you're on your bike somewhere listening and you're out where you can grab your water bottle out or something like that and take a little sip out of your water bottle, if you're in your cubicle at work or something like that, put in your memory a great bike rider and a good friend of yours like Noel, and raise your glass, and here's one to Noel Zanchelli. Thanks for tailwinds, my friend. There we go. There we go. So should we bump to news? You guys ready to bump to news? Where's my news theme? There's the news theme. Da-da-da-da. It's quieter now too. I've got my levels finally. It's almost like I have a degree in broadcasting.
Almost.
Fuck. Headlines. Geraint Thomas from Ineos Grenadiers made up for his blunder on the previous day, which we will talk about here shortly, to claim overall victory at the Tour de Romandie, as Remy Cavagna from De Koenig Quickstep won the final day. Thomas bizarrely crashing in the sprinting alongside Michael Woods. Again, we will talk about this. Made no mistake in recovering his 11-second deficit of the Canadian leader on the 16K course. Thomas placed third on the stage to take first overall. Richie Porte. What? Made it a 1-2 on the final podium for Ineos as he leapfrogged Mark Soler and Ben O'Connor, and Woods himself, who slipped to fifth overall. So, gentlemen, is everybody up to speed on Tour Romandie? Mm-hmm. Jackson's nodding his head. Jack Broadhead is somewhat nodding his head. Yeah. Karsten, did you watch Romandie?
I did not. Not today.
Not a worry. No, it wasn't today. It ended on the weekend. So where do we start with this? First of all, who picked whom? I believe we were running an experiment, Paul, were we not, about if I truly fuck over a cyclist's career and picking them.
Tis true.
I did not pick Richie Porte.
And I did.
And you did. And Richie
did not win, but he got second.
Yeah.
He's crashed.
Better than anything when you predict.
Than he's ever done.
Yeah.
So
he'll crash tomorrow.
You didn't pick him at the Tour, and he got third.
And I didn't pick him here, and he got second. Yeah. Now, I don't think I'm cursing any other rider than Richie Porte, though. Because I picked Geraint Thomas. Mm-hmm. And he won.
Still fell, though.
He had a bad day. He had a really bad day. Yeah. So I don't know what to do anymore. I don't want to ruin these people's career.
He not only fell, but in the most strangest, bizarre way. So
what happened?
I will wait for that.
Go, please.
So what? He and Michael Woods are knocking it out, right? And Michael Woods, yeah. So when they started winding up the sprint, Michael Woods was coming off to the left. He shifts and stands up, and in this pissing rain, his hands are cold.
It's freezing,
and it slipped off his hood.
That's what I thought, yeah.
And then the front end just went, and down he went.
Oh, it was epic.
He said he was pissed for 2 hours, but then he found the humor in it later.
Did you guys see his Instagram post after that?
No.
His glasses flying off?
What? The white glasses?
Yeah, he had them back here, behind his neck, and he crashed, and they flew the other direction.
Do you guys follow him on Instagram?
There is a specific Twitter account for his glasses, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, there is. There is. Yeah, Geraint Thomas's glasses.
He posted some hilarious shit. Just his sense of humor was great after that crash. Like he showed him crashing the rugby ball in his hands and rugby players around him. He showed his glasses. He put music to his glasses flying off his neck.
Yeah. Look at it, looks
crazy.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's cool. Okay, then I don't necessarily need to give him shit, but I have to say, is anybody the big things that I think John Galloway said this in a tweet, and John, if you don't listen to the Velocast, and John, you should, great show, and I don't promote cycling podcasts, especially the one Karsten wants me to probably mention right now, but I'm not going to. Is basically everybody's like, Geraint Thomas, I love him, he's flying, I can't wait to see him do well, as long as he stays upright. And everybody always puts that comment at the end of anything about Geraint Thomas. It's like, going great, gonna win a Tour if he stays upright. What is it about his inability to keep the rubber side down? Because
we've been bogarting. I just want him to speak.
Oh, no, yeah. It could just be down to the fact that he might take chances. I don't necessarily know like specifics of why he would have that kind of nailed on him. I think maybe because you have a few bad crashes and then you kind of get nailed with that, just like how Richie did. He went down 2 years in a row, and then now he was kind of labeled as that. Oh, he'd be great if he didn't.
Richie went down like 9 years in a row. It
Yeah.
feels
Yeah.
like. Yeah, I remember seeing memes of him with a roll cage built by BMC
Yeah.
back in the day. You know, it's just because he was always stage 9, right, Paul?
Stage 9 in the
Yeah.
tour. Yeah, 3 times I think he went out on that.
Yeah, it's.
So.
But you can't necessarily blame it on inability or bike handling or.
Didn't Thomas come from track though?
Yeah.
Did he?
He's not he's not a cross rider. That's the
No.
problem. is
Yeah.
he
I
just-
think more than anything, if you look
controlled.
at some of his big crashes, I think it was in the Giro. Guy came in, took him. I mean, it was nasty. He was on a corner on the downhill. I mean, there's just some people that just are. It's not their fault,
Mhm.
and it's just
Magnetic.
stupid luck. But
Yeah.
but like this last in Romedy, that obviously cold hands. I understand.
Yeah.
You know, that type of thing. Yeah, it's you know, but yeah, he jokes about it. He understands. He mentioned in his podcast with Luke Rowe, it's called What's
You
Occurring.
can mention that one.
Yeah, What's
That's okay.
Occurring.
Yeah.
And you sit there and he goes, he's talking about riding around town and people are like, hey man, love you. You know, he's all in Wales and this. People are like, you know, you'd be a lot better if you didn't crash. Like, oh, all right. Because he kind of shies away. He doesn't like doing public speaking and stuff or doing interviews because they ask stupid questions, he says. And basically they do.
Yeah.
It's like, why did you crash? Oh, yeah, like I wanted to, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But,
It's like that water bottle in the Giro.
yeah.
Yeah, it's like,
See, that's just dumb luck.
I went straight
Yeah.
for it. I saw
Yeah.
it and I was like, oh, that's
I had a
mine.
season, not to bring it back to me, but I had a season where I couldn't stay off the pavement. It's just like, what
Really?
the heck? And there's a couple of times I know I could have avoided or it was kind of my fault. But it was entanglement. It wasn't just, and I was covered in scabs.
Really?
It's like, yeah, I just had a bad year.
When was the last time anybody had a good crash? Well, Karsten, you win that one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Peeling your arm
but-
back.
Well, yeah, that was a mountain bike thing, but yeah, that was bad. But you remember my nickname when I was a junior was Crashton, and it was that one fatal year where, like like Paul said, I couldn't stay off the pavement, and I took a couple of you guys out one year. But you just have that; just happens, and bad luck just comes in streaks, you know.
Or a career, in this
Yeah.
case.
I haven't crashed in a while. My last big crash was a mountain bike race.
And you shouldn't have said that.
I'm knocking.
Yeah, come on, dude. Really?
I'm
You
knocking.
bring that up?
Yeah, but it was that time I signed up for an enduro, not knowing what an enduro was. I thought it was like, wow, it's a 50-mile mountain bike race.
You live and you
Sweet.
learn.
Yeah, and then I did my first downhill section on a hardtail, and somewhere there's a GoPro with some really good footage that a bear probably ate and shat back out because it went flying off my handlebars in that race. But you Jackson,
You and your GoPros.
hey,
Yeah.
somebody's got to document it.
Yeah.
It's like the
Yeah, but you lose them.
Oh,
What
fuck.
good is recording if you go?
I lose them. I don't lose shit.
Well, you told me to put it on it. Damn it.
This fell off my bike,
Uh-huh.
and
But you
here
found
it
it.
is. Yeah. Jackson, you were cursed for a while there. You had some big
Oh yeah. It
road
was
crashes.
Oh, road crashes I had when I was like 13. I had one bad one that still shows on my elbow, but
Yeah.
last one I really had was also at a mountain bike race. I remember hitting a tree with my bars, and I was like, "Oh, it's fine." And then out of nowhere, I just felt the wobbles, and
Oh
I still got third, so I'll take it.
shit! Right on.
Stupid mountain bikes.
A picture of my mountain bike crash results. I don't know if you want to post them, but they're pretty good.
Your arm is. I remember you sent me that picture of your forearm, and it looked like the skin was peeled back, and I thought it was a joke. I thought you were like, you just found some random bloody gross shit from the internet, and you were in the internet. You were in the internet. Why do I keep saying that? I'm excited. You were in the emergency room, and you were just like, nah, I'm a little fucked up on painkillers right now, but that's really me, man. That's my arm. Take a look at it right now, brother. And I'm just going, where's my no, I gotta find that. It's this one. It was totally disgusting.
I just sent it to you. Just show it to those. It's amazing.
You just sent it to me?
Yeah, it's called the degloving.
Yeah, I know all about it.
Yeah. Oh! Ah!
Oh my god.
Oh,
Yeah.
Lord.
What camera's on?
Oh, do we? Oh, we're gonna have to get the explicit rating on the.
We just
Yeah.
went rated R.
Yeah.
Wow. That's one of those wounds you could die from.
Yep.
There's so much meat. Ah!
These bleed out.
Yeah. Oh, dude, that was bad. Continuing on, Tour de Romandy. Did you guys notice that Peter Sagan won a stage? Jackson, did you notice that at all? I don't know if you were paying attention.
Oh yeah, I woke up, forgot that the Tour of Romandy was happening. Found it on Instagram and still watched the whole thing. Even though I knew what was going to happen,
got spoiled.
I still wanted to see it in person.
What was unique about that win?
What I found
For
was-
his win.
Is this a quiz?
Yeah. If you're a Sagan fan. No, now I put you on the boil here.
Oh, wasn't that like a specific stat about how
That's his first race as a professional he won
that's
like 10 years ago.
That's what I thought it was. I thought
10
it was
or
something
11
like
years
that.
ago. Yeah. His first professional win was the stage at Romandy.
Wow. I was just gonna say that he wasn't like wearing glasses for the first time in a while or something.
And he got a haircut.
He did.
And he
yeah.
cleaned his face.
Yeah. It was crazy the amount of rain. Speaking of the reason for no glasses
yeah.
that this race held.
It always rains.
Does it?
Yeah.
It was
seems to
gross.
always
It
rain.
was gross.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of Peter Sagan, sorry to move the show along. Have you heard the Twitter rumors? Has everybody heard the Twitter rumors? No.
Where he's
Am I
going
the
to
only one?
Step.
Koenig, right?
Oh no, that has been altered slightly over the last 24 hours. These are all rumors.
He's going to Ineos.
No, God, wouldn't that suck? Peter Sagan, his coach, one of his first coaches, has claimed the rumors about him transferring to Koenig Quickstep are not real, and there are two options on the table. Number one, renewing another year with Bora Hansgrohe, or number two, signing
EF.
with Movistar.
Ew.
My question was going to be, what would that look like? And Jackson immediately responded, Jackson, why you?
I think that I don't know why. I just always think that Movistar has such weird organization in their team, and I also find that they're more of a GC looking team than they are a sprint looking team. I mean, they'd have to bring more on, but usually they don't have a very big team built for that. Which is a surprising move. He would be kind of the only like hardcore star. Like they have big names on there, but I don't think they have a name like Sagan. And they also have to keep in mind how much money he's gonna cost. He's one of the second highest paid cyclists. So.
And what he's going to bring with him with that specialized bag. Carson, you look like you had something to contribute.
Yeah, I think so. When Bora picked him up, that was a much different looking team. It was built around him, and arguably it was a sprinters team at that point, because I think we all thought he was just a sprinter, and obviously proved us wrong on that one. But I don't think either one of the teams brought up for him, Quickstep or Ineos, are good fits for him. Like, let's pretend he wasn't going to go to, there weren't any rumors. What team would be best for him now?
That's funny. That was what I was going to ask. Where do you think would be a great team?
Cofidis, or a team where a personality like that could just suck the air out of the room and get away with it. Like Cofidis, or oh god, who else is kind of built around sprinters? Oh, Lotto, the real Lotto, Belgian.
Oh,
one of those.
I thought Ajay Dessert. I thought that'd be a cool team for him.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
DSM,
Jackson, DSM,
because they only really have Case Bowl, who hasn't really won anything in a really
but you
long
can't
time.
you can't leave the team and say why you left the team, because do not speak. And, ask Mark Hirsch.
He would hate DSM then, so it'd be the worst place.
Run
for
by
him.
a German. He's
Yeah,
an angry
that's-
German.
Yeah, that would be a bad fit.
Never trust the Germans, right, Karsten?
I think.
You could say Alpecin, but all their money's going for Vanderpool.
Yeah, exactly.
So when Bora brought him on, it was because Specialized wanted to be tagged in. So his sponsorship, it's kind of like what F1 does.
Yeah.
A driver may not be all as talented, but what he can bring to the table for So I'm wondering if Specialized is willing to let them go. That's why everybody's going to Koenig, because he is attached. He is a Specialized guy. But what
his contract is with Specialized.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
But so
Senior set that one up.
So would Movistar switch to Specialized?
That's the question. Is
Yeah.
I'm assuming Movistar would switch.
If Specialized said, "Yeah, you're getting too long in the tooth. We want young blood." There's a lot of young blood out there. He used to race for the Italian team, Isoglass, but no, Leaky Gas,
Cannondale,
which is Cannondale, and then Cannondale became fused into Garmin and then also into EF.
Yeah.
So there's a potential there because he used to do a lot of promotional stuff for Cannondale too. So
the only issue I see with that one is his price, because EF is running off such
it would have to be come
a
from
thin
Cannondale
budget.
then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like
can't
that's
afford
where
it.
a lot of his payment right now is from Specialized.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And same with Cavendish, same thing.
Yeah.
I would posit that none of the bike companies can barely supply a pro tour team, because those guys, they require a lot of bikes and a lot of equipment in general.
Yeah.
So for Spec to just sort of cavalierly move their bikes to a different team or expand their team, expand the teams they work with, I don't see it happening. I see them. Paul made a great point that they're probably going to get him to go to another Specialized team, because Specialized, nobody can afford to work with any more teams than they're already working with, because none of us can make the bikes.
Yeah.
And especially they got to rely on other people to make them for them, which puts them in a worse spot.
Shit. That's a good point. Very good point. So let's speak about the elephant in the room. Let's jump to the Giro. The Giro preview is part of this. Starts on Saturday. So the main story surrounding the first big 3-week test of the calendar. Peter Sagan's going to be there. There's a big story right there. Second one, the return of the Shark. Trek Segafredo has confirmed that Vincenzo Nibali himself will be starting on Saturday with a 3-week-old broken wrist, which is he's what, kind of a thing like that. Jack, I'm just, I don't mean to interrupt the show, but I think you're grabbing a low alcohol beer just to no, you're grabbing good shit. So never mind. Okay.
He's trying to protect me.
I am. I just because it just sometimes it depends on the beer you're drinking. I don't have my athletic beer here today because you drained me out last week, so new shipments are coming in.
That's why I have to drink
Well,
alcohol
we determined
now.
last week we liked him better when he was in Alki.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a bummer.
So the return of Nibali himself. So my first question for the panel here is: pipe dream or publicity stunt? Nibali.
He's my free choice, Vinny Nibbles.
You're already revealing your choices.
Yeah,
for the
why
Giro.
not? Fuck it.
Okay.
Yeah, why don't we just do it? Why don't we just do it right now?
Yeah.
Because I have other stuff to get to.
I think the reason why they bring Nibali is because they don't have any other leaders. When you look at their roster, they have. Do they have Giulio Ciccone? Yeah, they have Giulio Ciccone on there, and that's really their only leader they had.
Malama.
Yeah, but
Save him for the tour.
Yeah.
So you're dividing two.
Malama's starting though.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
I don't know if he's gonna win a Grand Tour though. Is my only thing. Nibali's the only experienced Grand Tour winner on that team, so it's like
Yeah, Nibali's got the credentials. I mean, he's won the Giro twice, the Vuelta, and he's the only guy outside of Froome that's won all three.
But my
Grand
question
Tours.
is this a publicity stunt? Does Vincenzo Nibali actually have any type of potential of doing something other than photo ops?
He continues to shock people. When the last time he won, he came from he
Broken
was like
wrist.
2 minutes. Yeah, but he is a smart, crafty rider. I haven't seen him perform in the last couple of years like he used to, like the last time he
He's
won.
not
but-
hanging on cars.
How old is he?
Yeah. 35.
Is he that?
36?
Yeah, I thought he was 38, but yeah, I could be wrong. I have been wrong before. Yeah, Paul's going to find out. Is this the last? Never mind. I guess that, so I guess I've asked that questions about him. So anybody else on Nibali? Nobody. Jack already picked him as his
picked him.
outsider.
Top three, but that's not who I think is going to win.
Yeah. Okay, next story. Deceuninck Quick-Step. Are they going the way of Movistar? Joao Almeida, Remco Evenepoel, both headlining the team for Deceuninck Quick-Step. Full support as they bid for the overall title. In a rarity for a Belgian team, no sprinter was named on their 8-man squad, despite Colombian Alvaro Hodeg having been penciled into the start. So Joao Almeida was fourth last year, led the race for a long time. Evenepoel is a big question mark. We don't know where he's been since his crash. Nobody's seen him race. Have we seen him race? So thoughts on the return of Remco Evenepoel, and does anybody know of his fitness or level of preparedness, or return of Joao Almeida? In terms of, I'm rooting for him because my dog's a Portuguese water dog, so that's why I'm going for Portuguese.
Well, throughout the year, he's been relatively consistent. When he did the UAE tour, he showed quite a bit. I think there are better names on here than Joao Almeida, but I also think that he'll be I think he'll be going for that upper slot. And I think Remco is kind of, like you said, a question mark. So I think that they're bringing him to get a 3-week tour in him. Which is something that I don't think has he ever done that?
Nope.
A 3-week tour?
No.
Yeah, so I think they're looking to get that in him and show what he can after coming off a pretty intense injury.
Anybody else on any predictions for Remco Evenepoel? You don't have to reveal your picks yet. Jack's already just
that's why I'm
revealing his
holding
hand.
off on that.
Jack's basically like holding his card up to the dealer, just going like,
Is this a good hand?
You know, if anybody changes their picks to mine, so be it.
So, by the way, Nibali is 36.
36.
Yeah, nice.
Okay, I wasn't even close.
Mm-hmm.
How about the Orange Bar Tape team? Mikel Landa will spearhead the Bahrain Victorious. I hate that name. At the Giro, Pello Bilbao, Damiano Caruso, naming some of the riders who are going to support him. Bilbao's flying. So there we go. There's according to them, there's one target, one goal. We're all in for Mikel Landa, our GC leader, said their head director. Paul's just giving me a look like fucking idiots.
That guy has had plenty of chances, and he's had different. Are there Martians coming in?
He's ordering dinner
Oh, is he?
at the campground.
No, Karsten, we didn't hear you. It sounded like you were having a stroke, dude.
Sorry, yeah, I'm dealing with a medical emergency. Just
Oh, Jesus! No.
quick.
What were you saying about Bahrain Victorious?
I think he's.
Paul, what were you saying about Bahrain Victorious?
Well, I was just saying to Mikel Landa. I wouldn't put much in there unless he seems to perform when there's chaos and not, when he's not. There's a team of 3 or whatever, and he can complain that, I could have won, but I had to.
Yeah.
That's how he performs.
I completely agree. I always think that he was a great talent that kind of got wasted a little bit, and he just, whether it be the team or himself, it never just goes right for him. And I think like I said, he's a great talent, but I think that talent is now kind of wasted, and there are better names out there.
So there are other teams I could mention and continue to mention, but here we are to a point within the race. So all of us have the start list in front of us. Karsten, I sent it to you earlier today, and you said you had a chance to give it a glance. Let's talk about what stands out to us in terms of individuals. We are going to get to the point where we're going to pick our picks, and for those of you who are involved in club, team, or friend of Packfiller, you get to play along with us, and I've got a prize list here that's going to show up here at the end in terms of what each person will receive in our nice little 3-week competition. But for those of you who just who have no idea what the Giro is, you clicked the wrong podcast. You might want to pick the other one.
Google it.
Yeah, that deals with the other sport or activity you were talking about. But Are there any names that specifically stand out? You can reveal your picks if you want, but is there anything you're like, holy shit, this is going to, I mean, for example, I think we could all probably not get through this without mention Simon Yates' name or
a pick for the winner.
Egan Bernal's name. I think those are big names that we can't walk away from. How about anything else you guys notice in terms of sprinters, in terms of climbers, in terms of anything overall, Jackson?
Yeah, I think a big kind of elephant on this page is the sight of Dylan Groenewegen, his first race back since that incident that he had a little while ago. I'm interested to see how he fares in his form. I'm happy that he's able to come back.
Yeah. No hard feelings. It sounds like they were able to discuss that issue and the crash and everything like that. Time served, everything like that. Let's hopefully move on from here. He doesn't seem like a douche.
No, he
a lot of deaths after that one, and he's pretty. His reaction to it has been pretty introspective. I mean, he knows he messed up.
Yeah.
To me, it takes a lot of courage to go back into it in this venue. Honestly.
Yeah. And especially at this large of a, it's not like, hey, we're going to send you some nice little small training races. No.
Right.
National Tour of Italy.
Into the frying pan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Oh, you don't get burned. Jack, Paul, any of you guys got anything you notice on there? Jack's looking at me like, dude, I'm a runner.
Good, Jack.
God, I'm at the wrong fucking podcast.
I love you.
No, you're gonna get there.
You know I'm just busting your balls, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna get there.
Fucking idiot.
Are you talking to me?
Yeah.
No, nothing.
Nah, I got nothing.
All right.
I so with Groenewegen, I had battling for my sprinter. I would choose him over Caleb Ewing, but I think because of all that he's went through, I think he might be a little timid, not as aggressive. It was a hard choice. I still think he's faster. If this didn't happen, I would have picked him, hands down. But
sure.
For my sprinter, but I picked Ewing. Evan and Paul. I think the kid has got phenomenal talent.
Sure.
But this is a first race back.
Holy shit, yeah.
But what he did in the Junior Worlds, 2 years ago was phenomenal at Yorkshire. I mean, winning the time trial by massive minutes, 2-3 minutes, and then in the road race crashes, falls down. He's 3 minutes down, catches the group, then the breakaway, and then breaks away from them and wins.
Completely unbeatable for a long time. Until that crash.
But he's a head case.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Here's our competition. Here's what we're staring down the barrel of. I want everybody who is involved with our group, with the team, with the club, or even if you guys want to play at home and you're not a member of the group. It almost sounds like I'm sitting at the cool kids table, and I just want to say that I'm finally fucking sitting at the cool kids table. But what we're gonna do is we're gonna allow the picks to be one sprinter, one opportunist, two leaders, and one free choice, meaning I guess I prefer it not be a true flat-out another leader, like a third leader, but maybe like an underdog or a dark horse or something like that. So that's 5 riders you get to pick. And here, everybody who's listening to this podcast, you have to tabulate your own points, and I'm going on trust here. If you're really that much into cheating that you're going to cheat on a cycling-based podcast, congratulations. You are an official douchebag. But what we're going to do is every stage over the 3 weeks of the Giro, if one of your riders gets first place, you get 5 points. I'm going to pause for a second there because people are writing this down. If one of your riders gets second place, you get 2 points. If one of your riders gets third place on a stage, you get 1 point. So 5, 2, and 1. Okay, that's for stages. So just jot it down. You'll pay attention. You'll go, holy shit, my rider won today. 5 points. I'm a god. Okay. Now, finally, at the end of it, overall, if your rider wins the overall, you get 40 points. If your rider wins the sprint jersey, you get 20 points. And if your rider wins the climber's jersey, you get 20 points. That's how we're going to break it down. I know I should give points for the podium at the final, but I'm not going to. Here's what we got while everybody's writing this down. Each is responsible for keeping your own points. Here's what I'm going to offer up to the people, how they do. If you win first overall in this competition, you get a Packfiller Cafe jersey, which I've got the guys out here who are trying it out. They're my crash test dummies. Second overall gets a Packfiller mug set, which is going to Carson. Carson wants a Packfiller mug set, and I'm going to send him one just because he's a good guy. Third overall is a pair of Gooder sunglasses. Fourth overall is a pair of our new Packfiller race socks. And fifth overall is one of the good old-fashioned Packfiller casquettes. So I'm offering all of that up, shipped to your door, if you place in the top 5 overall. You must place your bets by Friday at midnight. Must be a club, team, or friend of the Packfiller. You may indicate it on our super secret Packfiller group on Facebook, or you may email directly to yours truly, patrick@packfiller.com, with your picks. Must be in by Friday, this Friday, at midnight. So, without further
Pacific time.
Pacific. No, I'll allow it.
All right.
Yeah, that's not. Is the time
timeline?
difference? It's an 8-hour difference, I think, isn't it?
Well, it goes the other way because somebody in Hawaii is two hours back.
Okay,
yeah,
you're right. Pacific time.
Okay.
Do your math. Does anybody want to jump right into the water and say these are my 5 riders I'm picking? Jack.
Oh.
Jack is the most enthusiastic I've seen him all night. Jack, start with your 2 leaders.
My 2 leaders are Yates and Bernal.
Okay, Yates, Simon Yates, Egan Bernal.
Yep. And
Sprinter.
Sagwagon. Sagon.
Sagwagon.
His
I
my new
like
nickname for.
Yeah,
He's
I
getting
like
older.
Yeah.
Sorry.
30.
I mean, but he is my pick for Sprinter.
Jackson's like, fine,
Hey,
I'm not going to talk to you anymore, Jack. I'm going back to Portland.
Opportunist. Dan Martin.
Dan Martin is your opportunist.
Yeah.
Okay.
And my free choice is Vinny Nibbles.
Vincenzo Nibali.
Yeah.
All right.
I'll go for it, yeah.
Jackson Bolger.
My 2 leaders are Egan Bernal and Marc Soler.
Marc Soler. Trying to get a little redemption for Movistar.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But Sagan shouldn't go there. Opportunist is Davide Formulo.
Oh.
My sprinter is Peter Sagan. Surprise, surprise. And then my outside is Alexander Vlasov.
Alexander Vlasov. You do your homework. I like that. Karsten, you want in on this?
Yeah, for sure. So me and Jackson or Jack are pretty much aligned, except that I don't know if Sagan's going to be the best sprinter in this thing. I think he is getting old. I think he's going to win some stages, but I don't think he's going to be the best sprinter in the Giro. I'm putting that on Grunewagen.
Please say that's
Is everything
not-
okay there?
That's campground.
Yeah.
That's campground noises.
Got some kids next door. I'm going to go in the trailer. Hold on.
No, you're good.
So basically, either Yates or
Okay.
Bernal.
Yeah.
And then for sprinter, Grunewagen. Opportunist is Dan Martin. And
Ooh.
who's the last one?
Free choice.
Free choice.
Free choice. Fuck, I forget. I have a list here. Just a minute.
I'm picking different riders as we speak because I just want to fuck things up.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I think Larry Warbass is going to win a stage.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, I had that one out there. I'm sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. Paulmine, you got your idea?
Yeah, I scratched Egan Bernal.
I just did too.
Yeah,
because I'm like
everybody's picked that.
everybody's picking him, so I'm not
Yeah.
going to do it.
And I'm because I like George Bennett, I put him in his place.
Oh,
I did pick Simon Yates, but if you did your homework, he was the butt of the joke of my video pick. So I think he has something to prove. And for my sprinter, I went with Caleb Ewing.
He did.
I wanted to see Groenewegen do it, and I'd be happy to lose in that territory if he did, because I'd like to see him come back. But anyway,
Shit.
opportunist, Bookman.
But yeah, that's a good choice. That is a good choice.
And then
Bookman.
my free choice is, because I don't know how he's going to perform, but he's got talent. Evenepoel.
Remco. Okay.
Evenepoel.
I'm trying to fuck shit up without ruining anybody's career.
Crashing anybody. Yep.
Yeah, I know. It's like
Who do we want to crash?
While you're figuring that out, it's interesting nobody's mentioned Hugh Carthy yet.
Nobody has. Ooh,
There's the
well.
He's on my list of stage winners, but he didn't really fit into this whole categorization thing.
Guess what, Jackson?
There you go.
I just ruined his career. My leaders, I'm picking Simon Yates because I'm not an idiot, and I'm picking Hugh Carthy. But maybe Simon Yates will have another explosion like he did because I picked him. My sprinter, I was going with Caleb Ewan, but now I'm switched. I switched to Viviani. Just because I don't gain anything. I mean, I have the shit that I'm sending out to people. So fuck it. My outsider, my opportunist, I'm going with João Almeida. Does that count? Is that not another leader, or is that okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, if you have a opportunist, if they win, you still get, right? That's a pick. You're going to get your 40 points. So,
but does that? Well, Hugh Carthy. I picked Hugh Carthy as a leader. So you guys got to allow me, João Almeida.
Third at the Vuelta. He's got a good shot.
So I got two.
Yeah.
Instead of one. And my random outsider is Bauke Mollema. That's who I'm picking.
There you go.
Yates, Carthy, Viviani, Almeida, and Mollema.
What platform are we watching this on?
GCN has
It is
100%. Yeah.
Thank God.
Mhm.
And
Eurosport then, and it's commercial free.
yeah,
Wow.
yep.
Okay.
Good.
Is
I don't think they're
are
doing
the
it.
announcers who I hope they are?
No, I think there's a pre-show and a post-show on those, so they do a very good job, and it's collaborated with Eurosport. So I think Bradley Wiggins is involved with that. They usually have a good
Yeah.
group of people on there. So.
And by the way, if you join into the broadcast while it is broadcast live, you can rewind it to the beginning and start right back at it. I love that about GCN.
Yeah. They're 5-star.
5-star. That's a horror joke. That's a horror joke. Yeah. Carson, you getting a little sleepy there, Pookie?
I had to hide from all the kids in the 70s rock.
That's so there we go, everybody. Must place your bets by Friday midnight Pacific. Must be a club team or friend of the Packfiller, and if you're not, you could probably beg me and I might let you back in, but you got to make it good. So there we go. Giro preview done. So topic, ladies and gentlemen, brought to us by our friends at Mojo Cyclery. Support your local bike shop, people. It's a very important deal. These guys are trying to make a living. I don't care if it is Mojo Cyclery or not. I love the guys at Mojo. They're great to us, and they're great to our friends of the Packfiller. They give a nice 15% discount to anybody who is involved with the club. But you know what? If you don't live anywhere near them, go and take care of your local bike shop. Don't let friends buy bikes online. In case you missed it, there was quite the brouhaha on Twitter today. I'm the only one who knows about this, apparently, surrounding the one and only, and I can't believe I'm going to say this on my podcast, Richard Marx.
Armstrong.
No, Richard Marx. You guys remember Richard Marx? Jackson has no idea who I'm
Musician.
talking about. 80s pop star. Don't mean nothing. No crime.
Thanks.
And his comments about cyclists being entitled, selfish assholes dressed, and I'm paraphrasing him, in Halloween costumes with leather saddles shoved up their asses. Well, hold on. The conversation, and I've been following Richard for a long time on Twitter, and Richard's pretty funny. He's pretty sharp.
You follow him? What?
Yeah, what's wrong with you?
Wherever he goes, whatever he does, I will be right here waiting for him.
Jesus.
Did I do this entire bit just to fit Richard Marx lyrics?
Yeah, I think so. So far,
might have. But what I'm saying is Richard Marx is a bike rider, he's not a full-on cyclist. He does ride his bike and things like that. And he went on after the day, and a lot of high-profile cyclists on Twitter were attacking him for this. And I tried to keep it lighthearted and go from there. But he later removed the tweets. But and I respect Richard for doing that, but it hit a note with me in terms of several different issues in regards to cyclists and our ongoing battle on the roads
with society.
Yeah, the ongoing notion that bicycles do not actually belong on the road; that the road is specifically for cars, and that we are impeding on the nature of the road. We don't belong there. And I just don't understand how this mentality has become so prominent. And maybe, I don't think we're being all cyclists on the show. We're all going to have our specific opinions on it, and they're all going to obviously be heavily cyclist based. But what I want to know is your thoughts on this and what we can do here. Is it spinning out of control? I hear of people who are refusing to ride on the road anymore. And I know it's an ongoing topic in this show, but and then I see a person of prominence. Is Richard Marx gigantic prominence? No, probably not so much. They don't mean nothing.
Apparently he's important to you.
Yeah. No, I just remember song lyrics really easily. But what I want to know is when people do this on social media and it appeals to other people's mentality, it almost becomes a truth within itself. If I believe that there are Hollywood elite eating babies in pizza parlors.
We just lived through that the last 4 years.
Yeah.
I was just going to
say. If there are Hollywood elite eating babies in pizza parlors, and if I see somebody else say it, all of a sudden it becomes truth to me.
Makes you stronger.
And I want to know how we're going to deal with this fact that people are now, especially in this country, under this belief that bikes don't belong on the road. Jack.
The problem is, and this is going to get political, is the people that don't want the bike on the road don't want to pay for the bike trail. They're absolutely against government spending money on rails, for trails, bike paths, adding a bike path to a highway or next to a highway paralleling highway. They don't want any of it. So there's no happy medium with those motherfuckers. They truly don't like bikes. It's either a angry jealousy. It's a you slowed me down and hurt my feelings. It's very, very, very political.
Is this a vocal minority? Are these people who think we don't belong on the roads? I mean, by the way,
we don't belong.
To comment on what you said, I don't want to ride on bike paths all day.
But yeah, I mean, there's the law protects you to ride on the road. The problem is you can't trust the people that are supposed to take care of you. The other, the people in cars.
Sure.
I mean, it very much becomes a fear of well, I wouldn't say politics, but a fear of somebody's inability to control themselves. I'm probably it's probably a 50-50 thing with distracted drivers and angry drivers. You have an angry driver. That's something we all know is there, but you never know what a distracted driver is. But I mean, if there was great trail systems, and I know we don't always want to ride on. There's some of our favorite roads are roads.
There's a 15-mile-an-hour fucking speed limit on a lot of these trails too.
Yeah. I just think it comes down to there are always going to be 43% haters.
No matter what. Deal with it.
And it's gotten worse.
Yeah. But, okay, there's always going to be 43%, but it's gotten worse. Is it going to continue to get worse?
Yeah.
I'm just curious. I'm not battling, but it's gotten worse based on your impression, or is it statistics?
I don't know. Karsten, you might have some of these numbers in terms of what you deal with. But
I can give you some raw numbers that would indicate where people are riding their bikes now as opposed to where they were doing it 3 years ago. I mean, gravel bike sales and mountain bike sales are the categories that are growing. And, certainly this is pre-pandemic level. Right now, people are just happy with whatever they get. But going into the pandemic, what we saw was the gravel category was skyrocketing. The mountain bike category, especially higher end, carbon level mountain bikes sales were skyrocketing. And in addition to e-bikes, road sales were stagnant or flat. And I have access to numbers showing what my competition's doing, and it's the same thing. We're all selling a lot of gravel bikes, and I think whoever said that earlier that people are just scared of getting hit by cars, and I don't know. I've noticed a lot more hostility. I'm still riding on the road quite a bit, but I'm getting either cut off and yelled at, or just people just don't see me way more than I was 5-10 years ago.
It's very interesting as well to hear the different perspectives, because you and I were having a conversation about demographics today earlier, and how dependent on where you live, you experience different things differently. For instance, as everybody knows, I spend a lot of my time in Portland, because that is where I've gone to college for the past 4 years. And it's so interesting to see how driving, especially, is handled alongside cyclists in Portland. It's a very different story, I find. Like, do you have to get used to the fact that you are in a big metropolitan city? Yes, but also you do get quite a bit more room, I've really noticed. And then if you come to somewhere like here, usually you kind of get that entitlement, like, I own this road because I paid for this road. Sure. It's a very interesting thought process, and I'm not labeling Spokane or Portland or Bend or wherever as any of these type of places, but in some cases you find an all-for-one mentality, which sometimes I find in the Portland roads, and sometimes you do get that demographic of, I own this is what I pay for, you don't pay for anything, so get off. It's just they're so interesting to hear. It's not a good interesting, but it's just it's weird.
It's the same in Seattle.
It's so frustrating to hear that fuck you don't pay for this, it's not your road. Wow, fuck, how did, and then you hear this dream world of, hey, everybody, Europe and Amsterdam wasn't like this once upon a time. 10, 20 years ago in the 70s, you see old people reshare this shit on Facebook or something like that, where it's like, in the 70s, Holland was all cars, and now it's all bikes. They made that switch. Why can't we do that here? I personally am a negative Nessie. I never fucking see our country figuring that out. We will never, ever, ever be a country of bicycles. Am I way
with
off
Holland? I just saw something. It must have been a month ago about what really made the transition from it was all vehicles into to bicycles, and it was kids going to school, and I'm basing no numbers, but I think the people that yell at me on the road are at the same level, and this is my opinion, that it did back in 1985. You're going to always have, like Jack says, there's always going to be assholes that'll never change their mind. You're not going to be there. I think if there is an increase or the lack of safety, at least in the Spokane area, and I think you can start getting to the point where I'll touch Portland, is that in Spokane, when we were riding last Saturdays, look at the traffic. I mean, these are roads I've rode on for 35 years.
It's population.
Yeah, population starts going up. And then the people that didn't mind you there now are dealing with more traffic, and now you're there. So then I think the temperament goes up. Now, Portland and Seattle, and in fact, Seattle, I've had more problems every time I ride in Seattle, more problems with people than I have in Spokane. Glenn Bunsemeyer came across and I did a training ride with. He packs a freaking Glock on his back, so people don't run him off the road because he's been jumped.
Is it visible?
Yes, he makes sure it's visible, and he says, since I've done that, nobody's. But I don't know. I haven't. That was Jesus.
It's like
that
the
was
Glock
like 20
sticker
something
in the back of your 4x4.
Yeah,
But he's got one on his back.
protected by Smith and Wesson.
Oh,
You know, but the thing is nobody, and I think the thing is when a city or a community says, hey, listen, this is not going to change, and I think it's the mentality. I wish people wouldn't politicize it, but they do. Everything. That's America
anymore. Yeah.
Everything's. How about this? Things are. GM is announced that they're going to quit making internal combustion engines, and they're going to go all electric. This is a trend for environmental, purposes. So we got to learn to. I don't want to charge my car if I have to go, down the street or use.
I just bought an RV. I don't know why. I don't want to spend $3,000 for gas.
But here's the deal. So at a certain point, you get a boiling point, and you start laying it down, and you got to put your political sides down and say, hey, listen, things aren't going to change. Internal combustion engines are going to die. We're all going to be in electric cars. The alternative is bikes. We got to do some more mass transit. But that resistance is always there, like wearing a mask. Same thing.
Or disc brakes.
I can't change.
There's one other huge factor that's different now than it was in 1985 when we all started. Is cell phones. People are much more distracted than they were back then, and so regardless of how motorists feel about cyclists, they're just not paying attention like they used to. And that's not going to change either, whether or not you're driving an electric car.
Yeah. I just think that it drives me absolutely insane that I read this entire post today, and yes, he took them down, but the entire concept was about these guys who were breaking laws, who were taking up an entire lane, according to his words, and things like that. Yeah, cyclists who were taking up the entire lane and thinking they, quote, own the road. And unfortunately, cyclists are the majority. But if I had $1 for every driver I saw breaking the rules of the road,
while you're driving,
contest.
Well, if you're a driver, you rage on the road.
We've got this incredible double standard, but unfortunately, that double standard is being placed by the majority. The majority is going to win this.
Yeah, I also think it's super interesting to come to be in two different areas that are such different population sizes. Because I will ride on any busy street here in Spokane, and it's going to be like a slow day in Portland. And it's I don't know if this is how everybody here feels, but I think Dad, when we were in Portland, what was your feeling riding on Highway 30?
I didn't like it because I'm so gun shy and expecting every car to pass me or a truck to pass me and throw a hamburger at me or a cigarette out in my fucking face. But the more I ride it with you, I've ridden that highway with you probably 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 times, and I'm getting to the point where it's like, we're going to be okay,
Yeah.
There was one moment I did remember riding with you that there was a semi taking up the shoulder, and you went onto the sidewalk, and I went wide. Mm-hmm. I went into the actual lane because I looked behind me and I didn't see anybody coming, kind of a thing like that. But it's just how we learn different defensive skills.
That's what I think so interesting here is because I wonder if in Spokane, just as a specific example, whether if there is more traffic, which there definitely is, numbers of the population have grown, obviously, but part of me wonders if there is a custom to it. You know what I mean? Is everybody who rides in Spokane so used to the amount of people that are here now, or is it something that feels new? So it feels like there are more drivers that are taking risks, and there probably are. I'm not belittling anything of what you feel, but I think it's just interesting because today when I rode on fairly busy roads voluntarily because I knew that I was used to it. I was not fearful or scared of drivers because I have that sense almost. And when I was driving over here, not to monopolize the conversation.
No, you're not.
But when we were driving here from Portland, I looked in the rearview mirror and without even seeing a signal or anything, I looked to my girlfriend and I said, "They'll be over here." And within 3 seconds, she said, "How did you do that?" And I was like, you just know.
You develop that sense of understanding.
And it's probably actually exactly what he said. There's a major group of people that have always ridden the trails or always been on, Zwift or whatever, that don't have that skill or feeling. Like I could not ride my bike for a number of years and ride through any city, and I do what I do because I know what I'm supposed to do and follow my bike law, and expect everybody around me to take care of me. Basically, if I'm riding on the furthest right and I'm riding where I should be, that everybody's, there's a lot of trust. I don't think new riders that have spent a lot of time on the trails or inside or in gyms have that level of comfort.
Yep.
So wait till we start racing.
People. You're clipping out, Karsten. You're clipping out.
Awesome.
Unfortunately, man. We lost you there for a second.
Max Headroom.
What I'm saying is we're dealing with. It's kind of another topic, but we are going to deal here very quickly once group riding and racing starts again with people who have been doing nothing but Peloton and Zwift.
Yeah.
Who have very little or no experience riding around other people, and
they're professionals now.
Yeah.
Good point.
Got a pro license.
Yeah.
Got a contract.
And we've got to, I think Phil Guyman said it best on one of his videos. He's like, "Do not fuck this up." He's talking to the rest of us cyclists. Do not fuck this up. We have all these people who suddenly want to do our sport. Do not go out there and ridicule people for the fact that they don't know how to take a proper pull through, or they don't know that the wind is coming from the left, which way the echelon should go. We're going to have to deal with this shit, and probably a lot of people who don't know their ass from a hole in the ground, or they might be wearing their chamois backwards or something like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
I never thought about headwinds and crosswinds as like, unless you got a
Paul
bunch
does.
of fans. No, but unless you got a bunch of fans set up in front of your Zwift machine, you don't have an idea.
Well, somebody who doesn't know might be going, "Why is it so much harder when I'm over here?"
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So, I mean, we can't fuck this up.
I would like to add something about, and I agree, there's a couple of points that I'd like to touch. One, as a distractive drivers, there certainly was an increase, and I'm not, this is again personal opinion, and no scientific thing, but driving around, you could see somebody in front of you when I'm driving through town, they're on their phone. Yeah, it was obvious. They're all over it and stuff. I see that less and less, and I drive a lot because that's what I do through the day from one spot to the next. So at least in Spokane, in my observation, which is not scientific, that I think that a lot of people are like a little wake-up call. Either they knew somebody, it won't happen to me type of thing, but as soon as that starts happening, like same thing. All of a sudden, people start backing off. I think there's still obviously distractive drivers.
Just don't jack through like a DUI.
Yeah.
One time
I know that one buddy.
I had a couple Harvey wallbangers, and next thing I knew, I was in a parking lot with my keys up my ass.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. They're not in the ignitions. You can't give me a
Sorry, officer. She's a little flooded. Please continue, Paul.
But
if you
that's
can.
one. But I think also as riders on the road, and I am very guilty of this when we get out in the boonies, is that because we're in a conversation, and I'm not paying attention. Somebody has to go around. We're not really. The state of Washington,
3 or 4 abreast.
You can go.
We're 2 by 2.
No, I know,
but and the state law for Washington is you can go, 2 abreast, but it's far to the right as you feel deemed safe. So that's kind of,
And we always go, shit, sorry.
But there's miles and miles. It really isn't. It really isn't a bother for them to come around us.
No.
But we are taking a whole lane.
Yeah.
They're passing like a car.
Yeah.
But still, for those people who hate on cycling, that's just one more thing. So I got to be a little more conscious myself as an individual. Ride a little closer, or listen. Maybe get a third eye.
Some of the
I can see
Yeah.
Some of the
You
cars.
mentioned Glenn Bunselmeyer twice.
Yeah. Some of the cars are so quiet now that I can't hear. Well, maybe I'm just an old fuck.
Yeah,
I don't know,
hear
Jackson.
anyway.
Do you hear the? I mean, I just was like, I can't
Well, it's my
hear him
voice.
until
I'm
they're
always
beside
doing
me.
this.
That's true. That's true.
Sometimes you always got to be switched on. Sometimes you're just not always switched on. So it's like with that type of situation, sometimes you just can't, and it's no fault of your own. But
Yeah. But we are, let's, as cyclists, we have in the state of Washington now, we have the right to roll through a stop sign.
Yeah.
Don't take that to the extreme. I think if we do, everybody tries to do their part, I think we're doing the right thing. And that's what you can just ride your...
We're going to be the hated minority in this
Yes.
case.
Oh, well.
And that's going to be always a situation. So I guess to anybody listening to this show, understand that you represent the rest of us. And I don't want to get on my high horse here, but you do. If you piss off somebody and they swerve around you and you flip them off, I might be the next guy
You're
they
the
come up
victim.
behind.
Yeah.
And your job isn't to do that. I always make a point when you and I are riding, when we're all riding together, is if we're single file or even if we're side by side, if there's a gap for a car, I intentionally will wave the car to come by. And then I'll give them also a thank you wave when they come by. And 95% of the time, that driver goes, thank you back to me.
I get more waves from drivers than I do other cyclists going the other way. It pisses me off.
Oh, I hate that shit. I mean, if you're a cyclist, wave to
That's a
another
whole
fucking
nother
cyclist.
show.
And use or at least 2 fingers off the brake levers in a wave thing, but don't do it like
your pinkies.
Don't do
pinkies and
Yeah.
rectums.
Don't do like.
You gotta like lift your index fingers.
Did you say pinkies and rectums?
Yeah, we that's
We-
a
that
whole
was
new
last
term.
week.
We
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
What?
you're the one that
That's a
said
band
it.
we
Pinkies
coined
and
the
rectums?
phrase.
Yeah.
I don't remember.
I coined.
Wow.
I patented it.
Okay.
patent
All
it.
right,
Okay.
serious.
You pat.
All right.
Patented it.
Yeah.
Hey, I ride on the white line. Do you guys ride in?
That was
I
going to
tried
be my
in the
last
gravel?
question to this.
In the gravel? I don't ride in the gravel.
Shoulder, or just inside the shoulder, or
White
just
line.
on the line? Karsten.
But it depends on the road. I
Yeah.
mean, if there's in Bend, we have some really wide shoulders,
Yeah.
a lot of, bike lanes. But if I'm way out in the county, I'm riding just inside the white line, or on the right side of the white line.
I don't know about you guys. I want a car to have to go. I have to pass the cyclist now. I don't want him to go. I can get by. And speaking of rectums,
It depends.
Pucker.
It depends on the time of year.
Yeah.
If they haven't swept the
Yeah, sure.
the winter gravel.
Yeah.
And what side of the state you're in? There's no gravel on the west side.
No, you don't need it.
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Not in Portland either.
They
Nope.
just sprinkle the roads with gold dust and meth, powdered heroin.
For me, when I ride, I always try and, if it's by myself,
Yeah.
if I can ride on the inside of the white line, if it's a busy area, I will. I don't like doing that when there's somebody behind me because no matter how often you're looking, you're like, wave. In
Yeah.
Spokane, that white line can suddenly disappear.
Yeah, or be a gigantic
or
pothole.
Yeah. And so I always kind of leave a little. I start either just on the outer edge of the white line when it's busy, but
Last question on this topic, gentlemen. I'm going to offer to each and every one of you, and I expect a one-word response out of each of you.
one word. Oh, no.
If you had a 13-year-old child right now that wanted to go out and be a road cyclist, would you feel comfortable sending that child out by themselves? Yes or no? Paul Main.
Yes.
Jack Broadhead.
I do have a 13-year-old child.
One fucking word, Jack. Would you do it?
I'd be with them.
You'd be with them.
Yep.
Okay, supervised.
Yep.
Jackson Bulger, future father of America.
Yep. They've got to get used to it.
You do it. Just get out there, sink or swim.
Yep.
But
Little
alone?
shit.
Alone.
Don't come back
Not alone.
until you've done the South Hill Loop, you little bastard.
Yeah. Exactly.
Karsten Hagen,
Yeah.
you would.
Alone?
Yep.
Alone?
Yeah. I mean, I'd be worried as hell, but yeah.
Yeah. I'm that way. I think I was that way. And it and your mom and I had serious oh fuck, okay. Your mom's a worrier and she knows she's a worrier, and I'm not exposing her on the podcast, but she is a much bigger worrier than I was, and it bothers her. I think it still bothers her today. When I leave, every day when I leave, I say goodbye to my wife, and she says the same thing. It's a ritual. It is a what's the word I'm looking for?
I don't know. You're the Catholic one.
It's a routine. No, it's a when people have their traditions or whatever it is, safety traditions, kind of a thing like that. I'm missing the word because I'm a fucking idiot. But it is. She always says, "Okay, I love you. Be careful. Have fun." She has to say that before every race.
It's an
before every
OCD
ride.
thing.
And I
It's
have
like
to have her
painting.
say that. I have to have her say that to me, or I know that I'm going to be
come
cursed.
back.
Superstition.
Oh, I was
going
gonna say checklist.
Superstition. Checklist.
That's a
yeah,
big
it's kind of
word.
the same thing. So
I wouldn't let my wife do that though. Like I feel the
you
same
wouldn't let your
about
wife
her.
say, "Be
God,
careful"?
No.
You wouldn't let your wife go out for a mile
Yeah,
and ride by
like-
herself.
Yeah, I've already done
That's
that.
a whole other
I
subject.
got control issues.
I didn't say. I didn't say that.
that pool.
I did not say a 13-year-old son.
My wife's older than 13.
If it's a 13-year-old daughter,
That's such. See, and this is what's
and we're
wrong.
going to get in
and
trouble for this,
I
but
have
I
a
don't care.
13-year-old
But,
daughter.
you know,
It's-
as men protecting
It's not. It's not the whole men protecting women thing.
Yeah, okay.
It's none of that. I think it's.
fathers.
But
that is what I was saying. But
Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
I agree.
No, I get what you meant.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's like, I mean, I've had this conversation with my girlfriend, and she unfortunately has told me that she wouldn't feel comfortable going out by herself. It's not any four of us in this room or Karsten online's fault. That's the unfortunate world that we live in.
Yeah.
And we're at the point. I'm getting off a little bit, but we're at the point where women don't feel comfortable starting their Strava at their house.
yeah.
What? That's stupid.
Just people will know.
Yeah,
it's fucked.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah.
whole other episode for that. But
That is another.
God, we got 2 more episodes.
Hey, everybody, watch this with Professor Paul Main, brought to you by our friends at the Athletic Brewing Company. The irony of Paul's segment being brought to you by Athletic is right there. Friends, use the link at packfiller.com to explore great tasting brew that is low in calories and less than 5.5% alcohol. My recommendation, try the Hazy IPA. Jack drank all of it last week.
Yep.
Or get in on the 2 Trellis Pilot Brew. 2 6-packs, free shipping if you get involved with that. So, Paul Main, Professor Paul, it's Giro time. We were given 2 links to enjoy. The first from the old school in 1973 and the most recent from 2018. The Tale of 2 Stages, the Tale of 2 19s. The listener's first... If they did their homework, the listener's first question for Paul is going to be, why do you keep showing us all this old shit?
It's well, there is some similarities,
Yeah.
and a little bit of differences, and where
Yeah.
we've come. Obviously, you could look at the bikes. The big thing for me was the gears that they had to push up those hills, the same hills that they do now.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
But you had to, because the thing is you had 5 in the back. You had to keep that close, and they only had a 42, and probably ran 23 was like as big. Yeah,
23 was a badge of shame.
Well,
remember
not
for
well.
many years.
Campy new
It was.
record was, I think he could go up to a 26. Because of the way
Yeah.
the cage design and everything. So I don't know. Maybe some guys ran that, but if you went from a 26, that means you had to run a 15. Because of the gear
My
jumps.
spread was terrible.
Too much.
It's like
Yeah.
riding that bike I rode. Okay.
So these guys still.
Jack, you look so down.
He seems a little down
I'm worried
today.
about you, buddy.
I'm good.
All right.
Cheer up there, Boogaloo.
So, but nevertheless, the team tactics are pretty much the same.
Yeah.
I mean, you look when Fuentes attacks, Molteni comes up to the front, and they're chasing him down. That's Molteni was what
Yeah.
Ineos is today.
Yeah.
And then you look at Froome's breakaway, and 19 is a crucial stage, and and also I wanted to bring it just to show those 2 differences, but I also wanted to bring that Simon Yates has something to prove.
Yeah.
this year.
Just a bit. That explosion.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
my God.
But he went so full gas. He went 3 stages. I mean, prior to that, he was. But I think it's interesting. The crowds still have, back when there could be crowds, which is kind of enjoyable too. But they both, I mean, that fervor is still there. I mean, from 1973 to 2018.
Tifosi.
Yeah, to Tifosi.
I correct me if I'm, and I don't know if I'm way off base here, but does it seem like for me, I would much, I don't know why, but I would much rather enjoy following the Giro. if I was in Europe there every day with a caravan, driving around, stuff like that. The tour just seems like it's so big, it's so out of control. Your chances, I hate crowds anyway, so your chances of getting to see stuff up close would be lessened. Does the Giro seem more romantic, or is it just me?
I think so.
I think there's less of an American press force around it, as there is with the tour. I mean, Christ, an American broadcast service is sending it to our televisions every single day, and you don't get that.
Star.
Yeah.
Star Tour.
But you don't get that with the Giro, so I think there is more of a romanticism about it because it seems exotic and exclusive almost.
Yeah.
Italy is a beautiful country, and they really do use that to the... And some of the most dramatic pictures we find in cycling, if you go back to history... Andy Hampson and the Gavia.
Yep.
And, even, like in 2010 or 11, stage 9 or 8 or something, where they went on the white roads in Tuscany, and it was, it was pissing down rain, and people are just covered in... because they have hot... They start sometime when they hit down south, it's like 80 degrees Fahrenheit, and then they're in the Dolomites and there's snow. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful country.
I love that you know of these old clips and this old footage, because I never knew this stuff existed. I honestly thought it was like a Sunday in Hell, and what's the other one?
Stars and Water
Stars and Water Carriers.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty much it. For that had good quality footage we could gain access to. And you're just like, no, fuck, here, sit down. I'm going to send you one a week, and it's been great. And I love that old shit, and I love that seeing. Yes, somebody's going to bust my balls for this. I didn't know that Koss was a sponsor all the way back then, in the 70s, and then seeing him all the way up through the Sean Kelly years, and just the beauty of it, and this I don't want to say simplicity of it. We only had 5 gears. Hey, you boys better start sweating. Hey, you. But it's just, I love seeing that stuff, and I think it's so cool, and to appreciate the sport. And this is going to be the old man coming out. To appreciate the sport, you almost need a little sampling of this old stuff. Jackson, do you appreciate this, or you're like, oh fuck, another old video by Paul?
No, I think it's interesting to look at, but I don't envy them in the slightest with their equipment,
lack of technology,
and knees that will no longer go upstairs after some time. But
you're making fun of me.
Not making fun of you.
My knees grind when I go upstairs. They do. Yeah. They make that sound. Wow. Speaking of which, Carson, you need to go beddy bye, man. You sleepy there?
We haven't talked to him in a while.
It's really loud outside the trailer, and you guys are always giving me shit about my noise.
Cooking and clanking.
I want to say this. Specifically for Karsten Hagenacker. My friend, this is the quietest. I am not calling you the diva anymore. I am taking that off the table. Hear it now. Karsten is no longer the diva. I'm going to have to come up with another name for you, because you, dude, I saw you. I've been watching you. You're on my screen as well as
YouTube.
Thousands of people who are watching this show. But you were moving around. You were like, I got to get inside. I got to go over here. I got to do that. I take back a good third of the shit I say about you when you're not around.
A good third.
Thank you, Pat. But you can still call me the diva because I like it.
He likes.
Oh, you do like it? Well, then I'm definitely not calling you the diva.
Spoken like a true diva.
Puts him in Madonna.
Yeah. I like it.
All right, you guys, we're an hour 38. You guys, okay, we have our picks in, and for every listener out there who tunes into this show thinking it's going to be Voldemort, but finding out that it's so much better, pick your picks and send them to me either via email or on our super secret Facebook page. And we'll see how shit goes, man. It's going to get interesting, and I got a slew of prizes that are going to go out. And the people in this studio and in their trailers in Oregon aren't eligible for these prizes. So if you're one of those people who are playing along and Paul beats you by points. Don't worry about it. You still won it. Okay, there we go. Karsten Hagen in Oregon, in your camper. Thank you, sir, for being a part.
Anytime.
Jackson Bulger, thank you for being in person.
Finally, it's good to be here.
Paul Main, as usual, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Jack Broadhead, I hope you're going to be okay, man. I'm worried about you there, Sparky.
It's good to hear your voice, Karsten.
He didn't even acknowledge you.
He didn't. No, he hasn't made eye contact with me the whole fucking show.
That's not true.
He's like, you're dead. No, he did. Okay, you're right. You did just now. I'm Pat Bulger. You guys. Thank you. We'll catch you next week. And the jury will be underway.